Hello everyone. Let me see if you guys can see me. So I have no idea why sometimes it lets me in and sometimes it doesn't. Let me just make sure I can see all of you. Okay, I see Amy has joined me. So I do test runs on my Zoom and it works one day and then another day it doesn't work. So I am not sure why, but I really appreciate all of your patience. So I have to go from my phone, but at least the good news is I got a new phone today. My phone wasn't working and so I got a new phone. So at least I have a phone to go from. Otherwise we wouldn't even have a phone right now. And I do test runs on it and it works on some days and I have no idea why it doesn't work on other days. So I appreciate all of your patience. If you are joining me, I see Christy, Lynn, and Vivian and Ann Winters. Please drop some comments below so I can make sure I could see all of you. Just gonna double check. Let me know if you see me. So I'm not sure if I see any comments yet. Okay, I see Debbie has joined in. Vivian just dropped a hello with a hand, and Tina just dropped a hello. I feel like I really need my own tech team because apparently every time I want to make something happen, it doesn't happen. But I do have the phone, which is nice, but it doesn't look great on YouTube. So I try really hard to make this happen, but it's not happening. So, but I'm glad that you can see me. And Lisa, thank you. Wanda, Claudette, and I see Cindy. Awesome. All right, so let's get started. Thank you everyone for your patience. And yeah, I appreciate you guys understanding about tech issues. And like I said, I do test run these beforehand and they work, and then I don't know why it doesn't work again. So if any of you have husbands who are really good with tech, please let me know because I apparently have trouble with the Zoom thing. I don't know why. Anyways, so this is live number 116, Empowering Your Fitness Journey, 5 Keys to Maximizing Your Fitness Energy as You Age. Hi, Tracy, good to see you, and Elle. Awesome. So if you're new here, welcome to the Fierce Woman community where we sculpt powerful bodies and champion mindsets. So we're going to start with some wins and then we'll dive right into it because I know we're starting a little bit late. I want to give a huge congratulations to Sandy Rye from Australia. She just finished her transformation program and I want to give her a shout out because she actually got really sick and really major respiratory infections. I know Lisa, you went through that, and she got sick multiple times in the program. You know, I extended her program quite a few months because she got so sick. But in all of it, in her completing her transformation program, she's actually maintained an amazing results. She's lost 42.3 inches total in her body, and her body is flat, her stomach is flat. That was one of her biggest concerns when she came to me, and I know she's learned so much about food and inflammatory markers and all of that. So Sandy out in Australia, congratulations. And I told her that I would like to visit her one day and just go to Australia and coach and train her and live in Australia for a while. That would be amazing. So Sandy, congratulations for that. And she also lost about 10 pounds as well. So 42.3 inches and 10 pounds. So give her lots of hearts and cheer her on, because I know Sandy's going to continue on her fitness journey. I also want to give a shout out to the 16 ladies in the 21-day anti-inflammation program. They're learning a lot about inflammation. I know in the private group, I'm getting a lot of posts that are like, wow, I never knew these things in my food, or I never considered these inflammatory markers. I know Leanne May, Angela Thody, and Lisa White, I know you guys posted just going through a little bit of your own struggles right now. But I'm proud of you guys because I know that you guys are still doing the program. So I'm giving you guys a shout out. And the nice thing about the 21-day program is that, hi Kat, hi Anna, hi Tina, hi Lydia, Elle, you guys are popping up in front of my face here. So, is that it's self-paced. So even if you can't keep up with the, let's say the sequence of it, you can still do it later on, and you always get lifetime access to the 21-day information program. So for all of you who are in it, don't worry if you guys are falling a bit behind. You still can keep going and still learn and continue on with the challenge on your own pace. And as well, with all of the ladies in the 21-day program, you guys are heading into your last 10 days, where it's going to be 10 days of detox, anti-inflammation, and gut reset. And so this is the fun part, where you guys are going to get tons and tons of recipes and different foods and recommendations to help you on your journey. So please cheer on all of the ladies in the 21-day anti-inflammation program. Give them lots of hearts and keep moving on, ladies. I know you guys are going to learn so much. You're enjoying the 21-day program, Lynn. Awesome. I'm so glad. Hi, Pamela. Good to see you. And Zeta. And Zeta's here. So the other group I want to give a shout out is to all of the FFF Fierce Factor Formula Group Coaching Program ladies, like Zeta that is on here, Karen Ben-Raw, Michelle Shadrick, and Yvette Williams. They are on there finishing their last week of their program for the group coaching program. And I will give final metrics next week to celebrate them, but they have done so well. I'm so proud of them. And, I know they've learned lots about not only inflammation, because the 21-day anti-inflammation program is about inflammation, but inflammation, caloric counts, the way you need to eat throughout the day, which I'm going to talk about in a bit about energy, and then as well as macros. So I know they really went deep dive in that. So super proud of all of you, Zeta, and all of the ladies in FFF program. So if you guys are just kind of learning or have been in the group a while and you want to learn more about the 21-day program, either put 21. The 21-day program is about anti-inflammation, or if you want to learn about the group coaching program, which is more whole, like it has all of the elements in it, then put FFF below, okay? So I'm freezing. Can you guys still see me? I look fine on my end. So am I freezing on your end? Ladies, let me know. Hi, Carolyn. Hi, Dawn. Hi, Jacinda. Okay, so let's keep going. So let's talk about the 5 keys to maximizing your fitness and energy as you age. So I wanted to do this topic actually partially because I'm reading in the 21-day anti-inflammation group, and people are facing all these struggles and all these things that are coming up. But okay, it is freezing. I don't know what else I can do. I'm just going to keep going because it's looking fine on my end here. So I'm going to just keep going. But if it's really like you can't, then maybe I'll restart the live. We'll see. Okay. Yes, you freeze for about 3 seconds every 7 minutes or so. Okay. I don't know if I could change connection, but if I change connection, we would drop the whole live. So I'm just going to keep going and we're going to do our best here. Okay. So again, adaptability is the key. All right. So we're going to talk about how to have more energy. So I said one of the reasons is in the 21-day anti-inflammation program, but also I always get asked all the time, how come you have so much energy? How come your energy is so good? Why do you have so much energy? Yeah, I'm good on your end, Lynn. Thank you. Yes, I on my end, it's not glitching at all. So I'm not sure maybe if that's a connection on your end, but we're going to keep going. So I get asked a lot about my energy and why I have so much energy and how I can keep going and do so much. So I thought, okay, let's touch on this as a overall topic, and really why and what I think are the key elements that help you have the best energy as you age, but also maximizing your fitness level as well, right? Pamela, thank you. Thank you, ladies who are giving me feedback. So it's good on your end as well. Awesome. Awesome. So the first thing I'm going to talk about, and I'm going to go in order of what I believe is the most important. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is your nutrition. I will say this to anybody, everybody, guys, girls, men, women, children. I will say nutrition is going to be 70 to 80% of your results. Okay. So, if you want to have good energy, then you really have to prioritize your nutrition. You can't really fly by the seat of your pants, although you may have learned this a long time ago, that flying by the seat of your pants, or if you're hungry, then you go eat, or you just like go to an event and don't plan. That's one way of living. And that was obviously the way I was, my parents, were really busy, and we would just like go and then come home from church and they'd be like, what do you want to eat? This is how most people live life. But, ever since I really got into the nutrition and health field, so much of that changed for me. And I know this changed for all my clients that I have taught as well, that you have to proactively plan your food. Because if you don't proactively plan your food, then you will reactively react to your food, right? And so I think that number one is that you have to be very, very cognizant of what you eat, and knowing what you eat is really crucial. So let's talk a little bit about, the nutrition aspect is that you need to have the right balance of macros like protein, carbs, and fat. And if you don't have the right balance of macros, you will find that your body is going to ask for food even though you're not hungry. So how many of you on here actually sometimes feel like your body is actually asking for things when you're actually not that hungry? How many people have cravings? If you have cravings, I want you to put cravings below, or put that you want more food even though you're not hungry. So put that below if that is you. I see Anita dropped in, Catherine dropped in, Anita dropped in, Melissa. Yes, awesome. So how many of you feel like you get cravings, or that sometimes you eat, but you're not satisfied? Yeah. So Jennifer, you have cravings sometimes, right? And so if you have that kind of signal, it often means that you're missing something in your body that you're needing, okay? Now, of course, cravings can be psychological too, but we're talking about the physical side of things. So not satisfied, cravings, Tina, and Wanda. So the thing I say that is because when I'm traveling or when I go to big conferences and things like that, like over the weekend, I make sure I have some prepared things, but I don't always have everything there. And so if I eat, let's just say like a cleaner bar or something like that, I can tell that, it fills your body, but it doesn't actually really fill all my nutritional needs. Now, maybe because I'm so aware of my body, so I know, okay, I need to make sure that I get all my right protein, carbs, and fat later on, because otherwise my body just doesn't feel right. And then I'm just going to start to look for things. And so if you start to look for things or just food, but you're not satisfied, it's a really good hint that your body is not getting the right amount of protein, carbs, and fat. And Tina, you said all the time. So that's telling me, Tina, that you're not getting probably the all the elements you need, right? So we're going to talk about, and this is not new, but for some people it might be new. So one of the things I talk about in the Fierce Woman DNA methodology is 3 aspects of food you need to make sure you are watching in order to maximize your energy level, right? So I always talk about quality of food, quantity of food, and timing of food. Those are the 3 things I teach a lot in my Fierce Woman DNA methodology, right? And each category has a lot to it, right? There's a lot of things and elements to it. Claudette says, most of my diet is excellent, very little meat, tons of veggies and fruit, but I have super craving and don't know what to do about it. Addicted to soft peppermints. Yeah. So Claudette, this is going to come into play what I'm about to talk about in quality of food, and then quantity, and then timing of food, okay? So the first aspect is that quality of food has to do with, do you know your inflammatory markers, okay? So yes, coming back to the exact same topic, my 21-day anti-inflammation, ladies, you know how much, am I allowed to say crap? Crap is in your food. You know how much of like junk and toxins are in your food. And a lot of people aren't realizing that. And so if you don't understand your quality of food, and you have major inflammation markers kind of spread throughout your nutrition and your food, inflammation is going to cause it's not only about the belly, it is also about inflammatory diseases that it can cause you. So things like your autoimmune diseases that you have, or the digestive issues, heart diseases, pre-diabetes, diabetes, a lot of these things can lead to major health issues. So not only the belly, but potentially diseases, and obviously it messes majorly with your hormones. So if you have cravings, one of the first thing I'm going to say is like, well, you probably, there's more factors to it. Probably, if you think you eat healthy, then you have some inflammatory markers in there that you're not picking up on, that may be messing with your hormones, that may be causing your hormone imbalance that then causes cravings. And so there's a lot with the quality of food that you have to be very, very diligent in. Lynn says, yes, I have been toxic. And Lynn actually went through my program in transformation and went for an MA, modified MA, muscle accelerator. But like even herself, she let a lot of things slip. She thought she was eating healthy, and then I started the 21-day anti-inflammation program. She started seeing, oh my gosh, like there's still so much in my food that I'm not realizing, right? And your quality of food is going to affect your energy, right? Because not only of the inflammation, but brain fog is a huge issue. As you age, as you hit into menopause, brain fog is a big issue for a lot of people. And there's a massive connection between the gut-brain axis. So the gut-brain axis is that if your food is not proper or your inflammation is high, you are going to create lots of inflammation to the brain, and you're not going to be able to think clearly. You're going to get tired more easily. You have like lapses of memory, can't concentrate. And a lot of these things is not because of menopause, but it is about nutrition. And so this is why number one on my list about energy is, do you know your nutrition like inside out? Like you are a pro, a detective, you understand every ingredient, everything. And if not, that could be one of the reasons why you're not having great energy. I would say this is probably like the case for like 70% of the population in our society today, right? Monica, what do you think of fasting? So my take on fasting is, even though there is reasons people would do intermittent fasting, which is about cellular renewal, and there's certain things that, scientifically they've shown some good benefits of fasting, I believe that people in menopause and people that have had long histories of dieting would actually counterproductive to their eating, because they are imbalancing their leptin and their ghrelin levels, and they're causing, if their body is already under like what I call adaptive thermogenesis, which means that their body's already tuned down, metabolism is slowed down, they're storing fat, because in menopause, that's what it tends to do, is store more and more fat. It will cause them to kind of be worse. Like a lot of people actually gain more weight on fasting because they don't pay attention to quality of food, which is the topic right now, or they cause more metabolic slowdown because they don't understand how to do it properly, and their body may not be ready for it. So my take on it is, I'm not a big fan of it. I think that if your metabolism is very healthy and you have a good, good relationship with food, you understand your foods really well, I think an occasional fasting can be good because it resets certain things. But for majority of clients I coach, I would say most women in menopause who struggle with belly, who struggle with a lot of dieting issues, who struggle with a lot of issues with even building muscles, it's not always the best choice, in my opinion. However, there is always lots of debate on this. And that's why I just would say you need someone who knows you, who can actually understand your body to make sure you have the best approach, right? So hopefully that answers your question. Hi, Ruthie and Lisa. So if you don't know your inflammatory markers, I want you to put inflammatory markers below as an indication that you don't really understand the inflammation markers that are happening in your system. So like I said, if you struggle with brain fog, digestive issues, bloating, belly fat, plateaus, that is a big indicator that you probably have inflammation in your system. So put inflammatory markers below if that is what you feel like you struggle with. Okay, so put it below. So the next category within this first one about energy is Claudette. Yeah, I see inflammatory markers. Yeah, and we will reach out to you. The next category in the energy realm for nutrition is quantity of food. Okay, so there's quality of food and then quantity of food. So quantity of food is knowing how much food you want to intake. So even though I'm not completely about calories, there is, of course, the importance of calories, because you still have to make sure you have the right amount of energy in versus energy out so that you don't, overeat or undereat. So you do need to have the right amount of calories, generally speaking. But there's always a range. I spoke about this before. There's always a window. You have a window where a body allows you to be optimal. It's not like one number, but there's a window. And that window allows you to sit in a optimal zone depending on your your goals. Okay. So, but you need to know your calories, because if you undereating is going to cause adaptive thermogenesis, which I mentioned in fasting. Adaptive thermogenesis means your body will tune down your metabolism. And if it tunes down your metabolism, you're going to have a lot of major issues with whether it's muscle loss. You can't build muscle. Hormones start to be imbalanced. Obviously, your body starts to want to store more fat because you're not eating enough. And even though a lot of women feel like if they eat less, they're going to lose weight, it is actually not going to help you. And your menopausal symptoms will probably be worse often because you do not feed it the right kinds of food and the right amounts of food, right? So you have to make sure you have the right quantity. But if you overeat, right? If you overeat, then you're going to have trouble digesting all that food, because per time, your body can only digest so much protein or carbs or fat, and anything else beyond that moment of digestion is what? Stored as fat, right? Some of it gets stored as glycogen, of course, in your liver. But, if it has too much, it gets stored as fat. So if you have slower digestion and more of it being stored to fat, you have to also think about that slower digestion is less motility in your body. So meaning like there's not as much movement through your digestive system. And then this causes major issues, right? If you don't get as much movement through your system, you will feel more sluggish, you'll feel slower, you'll feel more heavy. And this is where a lot of people kind of like feel like, I would say like kind of that low energy after eating. Food coma. I think, Tina, you told me about food coma before. If you have a food coma, it means you're eating too much and too much of maybe the wrong things, right? So you should feel more energized after eating. Maybe like you're not going to like go and jump around for like, because you just ate, but you should feel pretty good. You should have good energy after you eat. If you are feeling extremely tired after you're eating, then you're not eating right, and there's something happening about your digestion. So overeating, undereating, both are not good. Okay, so you need to know your quantity of food. Monica, he says, I've been 10 years menopause free. I believe you can make stem cells after fasting. What is your take on stem cells? Well, good question. Stem cells are amazing. I have heard lots of great things about that. But I would say not everybody can afford stem cell research. Like I had a gal tell me about stem cell rejuvenation, which cost her $16,000. So I guess if you want to go towards that, I think that it can, but I also think you can have a lot of natural ways to help your body actually like learn how to eat properly, and your body has a natural cellular rejuvenation process. So I think that there are natural ways you can actually rejuvenate yourself. Is there a lot of benefits to stem cell? I believe there probably is. I think stem cell is a really great area of research. But, you know, a lot of people don't want to be like, you know, paying that amount of money or injecting that amount of stuff in their body for 7 days in a row, whatever the procedure is, right? So I think that is under research, and I'm going to say I continually will, you know, learn more. It's an area that's very well, I know like different people have tried it, like Tony Robbins tried it and stuff like that. And so there's possibility. But if I had to go back to the natural approach, I do think by naturally taking the time to learn your nutrition, naturally learning to know how to eat your food, naturally learning to take care of yourself in a holistic way is one of the best ways you can take care of yourself without going to all of the surgeries and different things and stem cells and injecting things and all of that. I think there's a lot of ways you can do it naturally. And that's just my take on it. So yes, so in terms of, yeah, you agree. Yeah, Tina. Oh, you're talking about food coma probably, Tina. Yeah. So then the other thing about quantity is not just calories, but it is quantity in terms of amount of protein, carbs, and fat. So it's not just amount of calories, but like I said earlier, you have to have the right balance of your protein, the carbs, and fat. Because if you are short in each one of those, it is going to have different effects on your body, okay? So if you are short in protein, you're going to have trouble building muscle and connective tissues and things like that. If you're short on carbs, then you're going to have difficulty with energy and doing things for a long time, having good stamina. You know, I understand that because like a lot of dancers, and I think there are a few dancers in this group, but you know, like they want to starve themselves. They want to be skinny. And a lot of time you end up not having the energy you need on the dance floor or to go do what you need. And so making sure you have enough carbs is really key, the right kinds of carbs, and if you are short in fats, then you're going to have trouble with your hormones and different nutrient absorption. So every macro, protein, carbs, and fat has its role in your body, and you need all three of them. And understanding how much of your macros you need, as well as, you know, calorically, the combination of those two and quality of food allows you to really get your energy into tip-top shape, right? So your quality of food, as well as your total amount of calories, your total amount of macros, is going to give you the best bang for your buck, if that makes sense. So for those of you who are watching, I know the 20 eyeballs that are on here, if you guys feel like you still don't really know your quantity of food or macros, you know, put quantity or macros below, so that, you know, we know that you're struggling a little bit with knowing what is the right amounts or macros for your body. So yes. Hi, Sherry. Good to see you. And if I didn't say hi to Misty, Emily, Monica, Evelyn, I see you guys as well. Awesome. So, yeah, put macros or quantity below if that's something you also don't understand. Now, I will say that inflammation and knowing your quality of food should be number one. But then if you have that figured out in terms of inflammation, the next level is quantity and macros. I would say like if you keep going in this like level, you just become more precise, right? So it's about how precise do you want your body to be, right? So I like to know like precisely how to optimize my body. I like knowing inflammation markers and what inflames my body. But if I stop just there, I feel like that's not enough to create like my maximum amount of muscle, or to play with the lowering of percentage body fat, which requires understanding of quantity and macros, right? So Wanda, quantity and macros information, yes. Yeah, we will reach out to you. And I know you're going to do the 21-day anti-inflammation program, I think. So awesome, Wanda. So the third thing we're going to talk about is timing of food, okay? So timing of food, I would say is really important, but it's not as important as quality and quantity of food. I think those two are going to be your big ones. Now, timing of food, when you eat your food, it is important, but a lot of times there's talks around nutrient timing. And I would say nutrient timing is like, if you get overall in your day enough protein, that's awesome. You get enough protein overall. That's what matters, is how much you get in a day. How much carbs do you get in a day? How much fat do you get in a day? It's about your totality of your nutrients all together. Okay. That is probably the most important. Timing of food comes into play when, hi Kathleen, good to see you. Kathleen's in the next FFF program. So excited for you, Kathleen. So it comes into play more particularly, I would say, for anyone more in sports specific performance. So if you are a competitor and you are competing in bodybuilding, or I know because I'm, obviously training Olympic and powerlifting right now, there is things within that where there is timing certain things that is pretty important for that. So if you're sports specific, I think that yes, timing of food is really, really important. Anything in like marathon, competitive sports, those would all apply. Timing of food is also important if you are at a plateau or you're trouble losing weight. It may mean that there's something happening in the way your body is receiving signals of the nutrients and the timing it's receiving it, okay? So one of the things I say, if you are at a plateau or you have trouble with nutrition, losing weight, you need to teach your body predictability. So if your body never knows when you're going to receive nutrition, it's kind of like a little kid, right? Like if it never knows, obviously I was a school teacher before. If they grow up in an environment where they never know how, when they arrive home, is it going to be safe? Is mom and dad going to be arguing? Is there going to be disruption in the home? And all of this, the kid grows up feeling really unsafe, right? And they don't feel safe. They have trouble trusting things because they're in a very unstable environment. And so you take that analogy, your body is the same. So if you don't give it predictability and it's like, I don't know when I'm going to get food. Is this person going to diet now? Or are they going to suddenly do fasting now? Or when am I going to get food? Or when am I, and then when they get food, they don't give me the right amounts of protein, carbs, and fats. So now I'm wanting this and I'm not getting it. So it's under a lot of stress. So if you're at a plateau or you're trouble losing weight, you have to learn to create predictability in your body. So your body understands how to stabilize and trust you as you go along. And as your body trusts you and have the right signals, then you can play with it more. The more that your body trusts you, the better you can actually manipulate certain things to be able to produce the best physique. And this is kind of what in a lot of the art of bodybuilding and competition and getting really lean and being able to dial your physique in and out is because you learn to become so predictable for your body that you can actually produce this type of result. Because also if you have instability of your eating, you will imbalance your ghrelin and leptin, which is your hormones around hunger and fullness. So if you imbalance your ghrelin and your leptin and you imbalance your insulin levels, this causes a lot of havoc in your body, right? And of course, if you don't have the right timing of food and you're very sports specific, or let's say you're really working on building a lot of muscle, your sources of fuel will, if it doesn't get it from, let's say, what it needs from, let's say, the carbs, then it's going to start to, yes, it may tap your fat stores, but it may also tap your muscle stores, which is probably not what you want. So that's why it's timing of food is important, but I would say in that order. My first approach is always, you need to first address quality of food. major inflammation in your body has to be addressed. Then the next thing I work with you on is quantity of food and making sure you have the right amount of caloric counts and then the right macros counts. And then if we need timing and the specifics and the dialing and sport specific to what you need is what we work on next, right? So that would be number one. So if you are struggling with energy, I would say like, do you have good quality of food, good quantity of food, and good timing of food, okay? So if you struggle with any one of those, I want you to put it below. Do you struggle with quality of food, quantity of food, or timing of food, okay? Put it below if you struggle with one of those things, okay? And obviously we can reach out, or we have also like free resources or lives we can tag you on that as well. So Cindy says, if you overindulge one macro at one meal, are the nutrients wasted, such as omitting macros such as saving carbs for dinner because you want to eat more carbs? Your body cannot absorb more than a certain amount. So it either gets stored or gets excreted, right? You're not going to be able to use it. So you trying to save all the macros for one meal is not going to be used, or it's like, or gets stored as fat, right? Or the other thing I was going to say is if in the day you didn't have enough and it still meets your total amount, it will try to absorb it for the body. Well, yeah, hopefully that answers your question. Sherry says, I suspect it might be timing. Sherry, I would say timing for you, but also I know you haven't learned amount and macros. So Sherry's in my 21-day anti-inflammation program. So you're just learning about inflammation markers, but you haven't stabilized into quantity or macros. So I think for you, it would be also quantity of food as well. So yes, hopefully, I know I says froze on my reply. Yeah, I got a little buzz here. So yeah. Basically, Cindy, the quick answer is yes, it kind of gets wasted if you save all your macros for one time. All right, so the other thing with nutrition, obviously I'm spending a lot of time on this, is micronutrients, okay? So macronutrients are your protein, carbs, and fat. So your protein, carbs, and fat are really important, but you also have micronutrients. So if your micronutrients are off, like the vitamin B's and vitamin D's, this can also really greatly affect your energy. So a lot of people may not actually consider the importance of micronutrients in your body. So making sure that you really know your micronutrients well, that you understand, like, what are some of the key nutrient vitamins you need in your body. I know that in the 21-day program, I specifically have in there certain vitamins you need for better digestion. And then as well as in the muscle sculpting masterclass in there was that cheat sheet. If you've already looked at that, I think ladies, you guys are getting there. In there, I say certain vitamins are going to help you more with having better building muscle potential, right? So just making sure that you are aware of your micronutrients. And if you don't know your micronutrients, you could drop micronutrients or vitamins below. We do have one of the micronutrient lives. You can take a look at that. But again, making sure you get an individual profiling for you is also really important, because it's like not everybody needs the same thing, right? So just remembering that. So if you want to learn more about micronutrients or vitamins, you can put that below as well. Okay. Awesome. We have 24 eyeballs on here. All right. So, and some people say I'm freezing, some people say I'm not, but hopefully we're still making this all work. And if you have more questions, just drop it below. If we go through the responses after, I could try to answer. Okay. All right. So the next element in energy. So the number one was nutrition. So that's a huge one I spent a lot of time on. So the next one is actually a more basic one, but it is the second important one, because I think this is the one that is easy to do, but easy not to do. It's the basic lifestyle thing of drinking enough water and making sure you get enough sleep. I would say that's a really baseline energy thing, right? If you don't drink enough water, your energy is not going to be great. You know, you're going to be dehydrated. You should be minimum at least 8 glasses of water per day, minimum. But when it's super hot like this, you might want to make sure you have more, 3-4 liters. Some of you, might have no trouble with water, but some people do, they go all day without drinking water. They forget to drink their water. And water is really important with nutrient absorption and transportation of nutrients. So if you are dehydrated, you might not even be able to transport nutrients properly throughout your body. Water is very important for temperature regulation, so making sure your temperature is in optimal state. Water is really important for digestion. So if you don't have optimal water, then you will have poor digestion, which again comes back to the point of not having enough good nutrition in your body, right? So you need good amount of water for digestion, and you need water for proper waste removal, so removing toxins in your body. So I always say this, so if you're trying to build muscle or you're trying to lose weight, where does the waste products go? Right? You do all this damage to your muscles, trying to build muscle. Where does it go? So if you aren't drinking enough water, you're not flushing out a lot of these toxins. And when you release fat, the funny thing is you could release and break the chain of the fatty acid, and then it's not well hydrated. It travels and reattaches somewhere else. So you do so much work to try to break these fatty acids and lose weight, but you're not actually helping to flush out the toxins. So water is extremely important. Tana, I see the micronutrients. Yeah, I think I sent you that live, but I think we can definitely try to send you that live again. And then sleep is crucial for your energy as well. And I always smile because Clarice is always working on this, although I have improved on sleep. And honestly, for some people need more sleep and some people don't need as much sleep. But I think sleep is very crucial for energy, and it's not the amount of sleep, it's the quality of sleep you have, okay? So the quality of sleep is more important than the time of your sleeping. So they say average around 7 to 9 hours is good. I will say that, some people can function on 5 to 7. I'm one of those people that I don't need as many hours of sleep, but I still need sleep. So, it's not amount of time, but I do think it's the quality of your sleep. So, the best indicator is when you wake up, do you feel rejuvenated? Do you feel rested? So when you wake up, if you feel rested and rejuvenated, then that's good. You've had good quality sleep. Even if you only slept 5 hours, it's like, so for me, it's always this what everybody generally says. I'm always like, yeah, but your body's different, right? Like if I wake up after 5 hours of sleep or 6 hours and I feel fully rejuvenated, I don't have to be like, well, the pros said I have to sleep 9 hours, so I should sleep 9 hours. No, if you sleep 6 hours, you feel great. That's awesome, right? So the best indicator is how you feel when you wake up. And you want to be able to fall asleep within about 15 to 20 minutes of heading to bed, because there's studies done about if you lay in bed for too long and you're not sleeping, and it kind of affects your whole sleep cycle. So you want to be able to fall asleep pretty quickly, and you want to be able to go through all your stages of your sleep as much as you can. But with the two most important one is your non-rapid eye movement sleep in stage 3, which is your deep sleep, and your REM sleep, which is, the one where you're dreaming and stuff like that, rapid eye movement. So the stage 3 sleep and your REM sleep, there's other levels in between, are your most important 2 stages. So you want to be able to get that non-rapid eye movement, deep sleep, and the REM movement, at least about 4 to 6 cycles of it. if you can get 4 to 6 cycles, you should be good. Some people will cycle faster. Maybe that's why they don't need as much sleep. Some people, yeah, it varies person to person. So, but you want to have 4 to 6 of those cycles to have your best optimal sleep and energy. Now, in your deep sleep, in your non-rapid eye movement, the NREM, this is really important for your hormone regulation, your physical recovery, and your immune function. Your rapid eye movement, REM sleep, is more for your memory, for like your cognitive functioning, and for your emotional regulation. So if you miss one or the other, you may affect your recovery in different ways, right? So that's why both are really important, and you want to make sure you get those cycles in there as much as you can. And in the 21-day program, I know you guys are doing a sleep tracking, and I briefly talk about how to make sure you get enough sleep in your cycle as well in there. So this is a pretty basic lifestyle habit point, but if any of you guys struggle with maybe drinking enough water or getting enough sleep, put water or sleep below to just indicate maybe this is an area that you need to work more on. It's one of those things, like I said, it's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do, right? So a lot of people, they lack energy because they lack having proper hydration and proper sleep. Hi, Tammy, good to see you. I see you popped on in here. All right, the next thing, so number 1 is nutrition. Number 2 is having a proper amount of water and sleep. Number 3 is focusing on exercise with the right combination of resistance training, cardio, and your HIIT. So in terms of talking about exercise, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more generally first, because as you age, you actually have a decrease in mitochondria. Okay, your mitochondria actually starts to decrease. So that's kind of why as you age, people don't have as much energy, and your energy actually starts to fall. Okay, but you can actually start to increase your mitochondrial production through exercise. Okay, so when you exercise, you create something called a mitochondria biogenesis. Means that through your exercising and a lot of aerobic exercises like running, jogging, swimming, it creates a signal that allows you to produce more mitochondria. And when you have more mitochondria, you have more ATP, right? And ATP is the energy fuel source. So by doing more exercise, including aerobic, but also strength training, you actually increase the amount of mitochondria produced in your body. You also increase your oxidative capacity, which is how well your cells and muscle is going to use oxygen. So if your body can use oxygen better and faster, then you have more energy, then you're more alive and energetic. And, so again, having the regular exercise, both aerobic and strength training, is really important. And then as well as regular exercise helps with metabolic health. So it helps you improve your metabolism. So when you exercise regularly, you help improve your glucose regulation as well as insulin sensitivity. So as you age, usually people's metabolism starts to go down, muscle mass starts to drop, all of this type of stuff. But when you exercise, you actually increase the way your body is able to take glucose, is able to utilize this type of nutrient absorption. So it also means, you're probably less likely to store, right? Because you're able to use it up faster, like a kid, like a young kid who can just like eat anything they want and fly around and run around and never run out of energy. So the coolest part, like I said earlier, is when we can do it naturally, and actually naturally, we go and move more, exercise more, and we incorporate good balance of aerobic, anaerobic exercises. So, aerobic exercises that uses oxygen more, but also anaerobic exercises that doesn't use oxygen as much, but uses your muscle more. They both are very, very important. And so if you're on here, and you lean more one way than the other, again, there's always like degrees of how much you need of each, and that's dependent on the individual and your goal. But I always say this is like, don't cut out cardio. Like, I have a lot of people in the fitness world who are wanting to build muscle, but they tend to cut out a lot of cardio. That's not the greatest for you. But you can't do cardio and cut out strength training, because you need the muscle for your metabolism, and you need muscle to be able to have better energy and strength in your everyday activity, right? So it's having the right balance between your aerobic exercises, your anaerobic exercises, having some HIIT training in there is good. So have a program that has a good balance to all three is just very, very crucial, okay? And so let me ask you, all the ladies who jumped in as well, I think I said hi to you, Tammy, Martha, Condra, Keisha, Kathy, and Rosa. Great to see you guys jumping in. Again, if you guys look at your program, do you feel like you have a good programming in your workout, in your day-to-day? If you feel like you don't have the right programming, put programming below, and then we can reach out to you. But it's really like you need to make sure all three is balanced, and just not like go extreme on any one end, so that you can have the best optimal energy, right? Hi, Kathy. You're so awesome. Kathy is a hairstylist, so I know she's awesome with doing hair. Maybe I need to visit you one day, Kathy. Yes. So so put program below if you feel like your program needs some improvement. Another thing to consider in terms of exercise is NEAT, okay? NEAT, which stands for non-exercise activity thermogenesis, okay? So non-exercise activity thermogenesis is all the daily activities you do that is not intentionally trying to exercise, okay? Awesome, Kathy. So your everyday life has a lot of things that you can do to keep your metabolism going. When you are over 40, you really are trying everything in your power to maximize that metabolism as much as possible, because, the natural decline of everything after 40 really basically like pulls everything down. Muscle mass drops, metabolism starts to drop, cellular reception starts to drop, your nutrient absorption starts to drop, like everything starts to drop if you are not proactive. If you are proactive, you can still be just as healthy as a 20-year-old, right? So with NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, it just means make sure you do things on your daily basis to like get up and move around more. If you are going to take, the elevator, don't take the elevator, take the stairs. I always say this to all my people who know me well. Like, I know Jorney on here, whenever we're at events, I'm always like, why are we going to the elevator? Let's go to the stairs, And I was at the event on the weekend, and there's like many floors, and like people are trying to go for the elevator. I'm like, why don't we just take the stairs, right? Like, I'm just always encouraging people to take the stairs. And if you're park further away. If you have a sedentary job, try to like have more of a standing desk, so all the little neat things you do, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is really important to keep your metabolism going and your energy going, okay? If you ever think you're really tired and feel really exhausted, I almost guarantee you've been sitting too long. Am I correct? A lot of you who are like exhausted or tired or sluggish, sometimes it's because you haven't moved and your body is now like shutting down, right? So you want to also optimize on NEAT as much as you can. Hi, Sheila, good to see you. And then another thing I want to talk about in terms of exercise that is not considered very much is posture. Okay, so a lot of times, and this is not necessarily exercise, but it is related to your physical kind of way of doing things. A lot of people, as you age, you don't watch your posture very much. And people are like this, or in their desk, or, they watch TV and Netflix, or they like walk, like slouch, and your posture. And as I say this, I always say, I can see through the screen. Everybody is now sitting nice up, posture high, core tight, and you're engaging it now because I'm talking about your posture. So your posture has extreme amount of impact on your energy level. Okay. So when you are not watching your posture, you are letting everything go, and it actually shuts off some of your intake of oxygen. And when you slouch, you're not getting as much oxygen. You're reducing the right amount of circulation through your body. And so like your blood flow, the nutrient distribution in your body is a lot less. And when you slouch, you strain certain muscles like your back, your neck, your shoulders, creating a lot of tension and stiffness, and that leads to tension and fatigue. So sometimes, we don't even realize that our fatigue comes from our own doing, like our own posture, how we sit, how we operate through the day, how we sit in the car, right? So Doreen says, I agree. Sit up, you got to sit up straight a lot. Exactly. Because like this should be your natural. You should not be like this, Clarice doesn't like to sit like this. As much as I can, I try to sit up. I try to be core tight, make sure and I know dancers are taught this way to you're a dancer everywhere you go. You have your posture on, you stand straight, you walk straight. This is really important for your energy level and your oxygen and your circulation. But as well, psychologically, your having good posture also really impacts your mood. When you slouch, a lot of times there's this psychological effect of low energy, decreased motivation, more negative outlook, and so you want to make sure that psychologically you're always feeding the mood. There's not just with posture, but there's another thing that I always say, if you ever are in a bad mood, try to smile and just start smiling, and I guarantee within 5 minutes to 10 minutes you feel better, because when you smile you send different signals through your muscles, and that activates different hormones and centers of your brain. And so how you are as a person, that affects your energy too. If you're right, and your posture's like this, and you frown all the time, and the resting face, I always say there's some people's resting face that's always like this, right? So, try to be a little bit more alive, and actually you're going to have more energy. Smile more. Always smiling. Good, Doreen. And I'm always smiling, because actually smiling creates the right effects and the right energy in your system. Smile, be positive, right? The positive mindset, which I'm going to get to in a bit, but your posture, your physicalness has a lot to do with it. So yeah, all of that is all tied together with the exercise point. But so I would say, number 3 for energy is making sure you have a good balance of, of your resistance training, of your aerobic training, of your HIIT training, as well as making sure you maximize your NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, and that you watch your posture. Okay. So for those of you who are listening, smile so everybody hears it. Oh, I love that, Kathy. That is awesome. Everyone see this? I know on YouTube they won't be able to see this, but Kathy just wrote smile so everybody hears it. So smile so big that everyone knows, right? So that's awesome. So for those of you who are listening, in the number 3 energy point, what do you struggle the most with? Resistance training, cardio, HIIT, maybe you never thought about NEAT. Maybe you don't do much on your NEAT. You go work out hard for 2 hours in the gym, but really the other 20 something hours, you're sitting at your desk, you're sitting on your couch, you're watching TV, you're driving in your car. Maybe NEAT is something you need to be more cautious of. Or maybe posture. A lot of people don't watch their posture. Even when my clients, some of you take pictures from me, you guys don't stand straight. You guys don't stand nice and tall. So maybe you need to work on posture, right? So which one do you struggle with the most? Resistance training, cardio, HIIT, neat, or posture. So put it below if you struggle with one of those, okay? Hi, Julie, good to see you. All right, so let's look at number 4 for increasing and maximizing your energy and your fitness level. So number 4, I feel like gets forgotten a lot as well. Jennifer's, my cardio is much better because I'm breathing now. Thanks for the tip. Yes, Jennifer. Jennifer doesn't like cardio. She's in my program, but I kind of guided her. You need to breathe through your exercise. That's really important. Make sure you're breathing through your exercise. Lynn says, staying consistent is my struggle. Yes. So in all of those, the one thing you need to keep going is consistency. And I would say consistency would be important, Lynn, in accountability and systems. Making sure you have accountability and systems in place, right? That really helps you. Like the 21-day program, Lynn, is getting you back on a really good track. Tana, neat and posture. Yes, Tana, because you still sit a lot as an accountant, right? So you can work out hard that hour or 2 hours, but what are you doing the other 20 something hours? So really important to consider that. And Doreen says cardio, working on it. Exactly. Awesome. So number 4 for energy is embracing balance and flexibility exercises. So I feel like a lot of people like talk a lot about working out and exercising, but not as many people talk a little bit about like stretching and increasing mobility, increasing flexibility. As you age, your joints are going to stiffen, and because you sit more or you have more stress in your life, more responsibilities, a lot of times your muscles just are not going to be functioning as smoothly. And so it's really important to, you need it. Okay, Wanda, I was like, oh, what do you hate? Oh, okay, you need it. Yeah, you need stretching. Yeah, that exactly. You need to stretch more for more energy. And I know it seems weird why I say this is connected to energy, but if you're stiff and you can't move and you're like, you're not going to have a lot of energy. If you can like move your fluid, your body can move, you have a lot better energy because your body can move full range of motion. And as well, like your joints and everything is just moving more smoothly, right? And as well, when joints and muscles are really stiff and stuck, your circulation is impacted, right? And again, let's go back to this concept. If circulation is impacted, it means your blood flow and the transport of nutrition is not going to be very smooth throughout your body. So some parts of your body is getting better nutrition and better blood flow, and other parts are not getting it. And you can see how this can have impact in your body and impact on your energy level. You're just not going to feel as great, right? You guys who have all had like stiff muscles or like stiff neck, or like you just don't feel as great. So making sure you have the muscles that move well, joints that move well. And remember, there's a difference between the two. So I did a live on this. Again, if you want to be tagged on that live, was like 2 years ago I did it. But it's flexibility has to do with your muscle and the way and the range that your muscle can stretch. And mobility has to do with your joint and how well your joints can move. You need both flexibility and mobility. Certain moves in stretching work flexibility, and certain moves work mobility. And you need both of those to maximize your movement patterns and to maximize your energy. Okay. As well, if your flexibility and mobility is like not great, it's going to affect your coming back to this, to your postural alignment, your like it will cause strain in your muscles, so you're more likely to have injury. And as you age, this is why as people get older, they actually usually get more injuries and more issues. And this is largely because they're not regularly stretching and creating the right mobility in their body. For example, let's just say, they walk all the time, but they don't do a whole lot of maybe more explosive types of movements. Maybe certain people have injuries, which is understandable. but that means your Achilles and certain parts of your body is not being used. That means it gets weaker and weaker with time as you age. And so you go and do, or you slip and fall, or something happens and you need to go quick and you need to respond quick. And then boom, you know, your Achilles snaps or something snaps because you never used it. You go walking, but you don't practice anything explosive. And so like things like make sure you regularly really stretch and mobilize things is really, really important for prevention of injury as you age. And as well, in terms of flexibility and balance, oh yes, Sherry, true, awesome. I'm glad this is making sense. If you want better muscle development, having good flexibility and mobility is so important, because the full development of your muscle comes from the full range of motion, your ROM, right? Like I said in one of my lives, your full development of your muscle comes from, can you hit that muscle fully? People who can't hit it fully, you'll get some muscle, you will. You're just not going to get your full range. And the nice looks that you see, the bodybuilders who have amazing musculature and really nice development, they have really great range of motion. They hit that line well. So you want to make sure that you have good exercises that can help you with increasing flexibility, help you with increasing mobility. So who here believes they need to work more on their flexibility and mobility? So put flexibility and mobility below. And part of this flexible mobility is part of like proper rest and recovery, right? Because like stretching and all that. So rest and recovery is really important. You have to have right rest and recovery. And I find sometimes, even though you're in your 40s or 50s, sometimes we're like, oh, we don't want to, we don't want to get older. We're exercising so much. We're going to do so much, and we overdo things. And then this now leads to improper rest and recovery, a part of stretching and all of this too. And that also greatly impacts your energy level, right? So, I see flexibility, mobility. Vivian has to work on that. Doreen needs to work on that. Wanda needs to work on that. Kathy needs to work on that. And Lynn says as well. Yes, exactly. I think everybody should work on it. And yoga is a great way, Sherry, but it's not the only way. Like you can stretch and do mobility exercises that aren't just with yoga, but as long as that is prioritized in your routine, that is very, very important, and your body will thank you, and you will feel young again when you can move your body in all sorts of ways, right? So and also I will say, like, those of you who put flexibility and mobility there, rest and recovery is a part of it. And I did a live on rest and recovery. This was a long time ago, but that is also maybe a live you might want to watch, because that rest and recovery live is so important. I think that, again, like, it's like you overwork your body, then you have the opposite effect on your body, right? So if you want that rest and recovery, we can also maybe guide you towards that live, so you can put rest and recovery below to maximize your energy, okay? All right, so we're moving fast. So that's 4 things. So first thing was nutrition to maximize your energy, and the second thing is water and proper sleep, right? The third thing is having proper training in strength training, aerobic, HIIT training, all of that. And the fourth thing is embracing, balance and flexibility exercises. All right, so the number 5 element is managing your stress, okay? Number 5, so this relates to energy, okay? Managing your stress has a lot to do with your mental wellness, right? So we talk a lot about your health, physical fitness and nutrition, but your mental wellness is also really important. And this is what I find for most people. Number 5, managing your stress is often hard for a lot of women as they age, because of increasing responsibilities, because of lots of things happening, right? Maybe people around you are getting sick. You have a role as a parent or a grandparent. You still have to work your job. So there's just a lot that is happening, or people passing away. So learning to life is going to happen anyways, right? So it's just like one of the aspects of maintaining really good energy is how do you manage your mind? How do you manage your mindset and your stress level in your body, right? So there's some things I'm going to give you a couple pointers on, but one of the things I would say is, do activities that bring you joy, right? And so this is why I go dance, right? It restores my soul, and everyone has something that they do that rejuvenates them. And that's what you need to find something that rejuvenates your soul. I find that, if you can find something that does that for you, you'll always be excited and on fire for life, and you have a lot of energy because it rejuvenates you, right? The only thing I will say is that rejuvenation is different from numbing out. Okay, so some people go, oh, I need to rest, so they just sit there and watch Netflix for the next 7 hours, right? Turn on the TV at 6 o'clock, and they're at their TV till like 11 o'clock at night, right? And so, if that's you, that's fine. But sometimes we just don't know that there is a difference between numbing out and rejuvenation. Rejuvenation means like if you do it, it brings you more energy because you do it, okay? Numbing out is like you do it, but then after you do it for a little while, you actually start to feel more tired and more exhausted and more drained. So that is probably not going to be something that's going to rejuvenate you. You want to find something that is actually rejuvenating you and adding more life to you, adding more life into your everyday, right? Swimming, Doreen says, and Wanda says, my grandkids, which is awesome. Yeah, the grandkids give you a lot of joy, Wanda, which is awesome. So do activities that bring you joy. Secondly is make sure you are building healthy connections to people around you. And I feel like humans are built for connection. And obviously nothing was more evident of that than during obviously COVID, when people were trapped at home, people were shut off from each other. There was a lot of like the cry for connection, right? But I think our human soul longs for connection. So ensuring that you have healthy connections with people who can support you and care for you. And, if you tend to isolate yourself, be very careful about that. I know sometimes as we age, we may stop going out, we may start doing things, we may start isolating more, and we start wondering why we're always having these mental kind of things. And I really do believe that, if you want to have more energy for life and vitality, it's about connection with people, and people obviously you can build that community with, right? And part of this I would say is balancing alone time and community time, meaning you need both. You need time sometimes for yourself to rejuvenate, to do things for yourself. And sometimes you need time for community things that you are part of and contributing and doing things together, right? And you don't have to be necessarily like an extrovert or anything. You could be an introvert, but an introvert can still get out and still connect with others, right? Because I know a lot of people, and it's often been said, people who isolate or who just do all their things on their own, or maybe they have had things happen in their life and they kind of don't really connect with others. The studies have shown that there's just a greater rate of depression, right? A greater rate of depression, of like mindset issues and all of this. So definitely kind of making sure you're connected or a part of a community like this, or have good people in your life, right? Another thing is, hi, Carrie. Good to see you. And Michelle. Awesome. Michelle gave you a shout out at the beginning. She's also in the FFF program, wrapping it up this week. So the other thing is to make sure you do things that add value back to others. So I really believe that a lot of our energy comes from having purpose in life. I have a lot of energy and vigor in life because I have so many goals and so many things I want to accomplish, and people I want to help, and people I want to impact. And there's a saying that says that like a heart without hope I think, dies or grows weary or something like that. And so hope is really important, because when people lose hope, that's usually when they, start to decline in life and all of that. So, and I'm saying this because actually, in this group, there's people that are up to like 65, 70, and it's like, it starts to be like, okay, like maybe now what's my purpose, or what's the purpose of life, or where am I going? And I really do think like it's so important that you find, your purpose might have been for a certain season raising your kids, but your kids are grown now. So go find a new purpose, go be on fire for something else in your life, because that's what gives you so much energy and vigor, is when you like do things that you can help others more and add value back to people. And then you're just every day, the moment you get up to when your feet hits the floor, you have so much energy for life, because you're there to do something great with your life, right? So adding value back to people, and setting life goals. So that's part of it, making sure you have life goals around you. Do you have goals that you can strive for, right? Lynn says here, the Fierce Woman community is an amazing connection for my soul. A lovely woman trying to achieve our best selves. I love that, Lynn. Yeah. And I'm so glad you're a part of it. You're a huge part of this community. An example, obviously, with, bringing down your belly and constantly improving yourself. And so those are some pointers around like managing your stress and your mental wellness. But one more thing I'll say is also making sure you monitor your mindset. So not just like obviously all the activities, going out, creating joy, connecting with people, being a part of community, all of those things. But I will also say like, monitoring your mindset and your self-talk is really important. Take time to reflect, to journal, and look for ways to improve yourself. I find a lot of times people are really caught up in wanting to be better, like physically, which is nothing wrong, to have more muscle, to look better. But I always say like, from within is where beauty shines, right? So if you don't work within your soul, within your heart to be a better person, or to work through internal things, you're always going to come back to this, like, almost like this, like, I almost see it as energy being trapped. Okay, so because this live is about energy, I see this like energy being trapped, and the energy is being trapped within you, and you're just not going to be as on fire for life, and you're not going to have the same kind of output, because you're not monitoring a lot of the self thoughts and self-talk, right? How many of you struggle with like self-sabotaging thoughts or talk, and thinking processes? How many of you struggle with like mindset or self-sabotaging thoughts? Maybe put like mindset below if you struggle with that. Because I think that your internal thought process is what reflects out as your energy in life. And if you've ever come across people, you can feel their energy, and someone who is, they can be nice and kind, but you feel like there's something about their energy that's like, there's something, or there's something that is very sad about them, or there's something that is very like held back about them, right? And so it's like your mindset will reflect out in your energy. So if you want to have better energy, and even like fitness, it's that belief in yourself. So really working on, like I said, having more positive self-talk, reflecting more, journaling, so you understand what is going on in your mind and your heart. I find for a lot of women, I always say this, like we have a lot of hidden things in the heart that we never talk about. And I know many of you guys have gone through many, many things. I cannot even begin to tell you the amount of things I've learned from my own clients, about things you guys have gone through. But I feel like, it's like you can only go as far in your physical fitness and in your life when you don't address the internal things. And so this is why this is my last point, because your internal things is going to determine how much you live out your life with that joy and with that peace and with that energy, and then it helps you realize your potential and believe yourself more and go after what you want. If you want to maximize your energy and your fitness level, I think it starts often within as well, right? So again, like everyone who's watching, like, does anybody struggle with like self-talk or self-sabotaging thoughts or mindset? Put it below, because I do think that is really, really crucial. So yes, I see Monica jumped in and Oshone is there. Awesome. So that's basically a wrap for what I wanted to chat about today. Those are the 5 things I wanted to touch on in regards to how to maximize your energy and your fitness level. And I always say it's a holistic approach. Yeah. For a lot of my clients who have belly issues and things like that, I think that part of it is nutrition, inflammation, but then the other thing I often say to my clients is it's your mindset, and if we don't address that mindset, it's only going to go so far. So I hope that it made sense that we need to look at all of it. And Monica says our thoughts and beliefs create our reality so within and so without. Yes, we are so powerful, we can do and have anything we want. Yes, I love that. Thank you, Monica, for sharing. And Doreen says, I totally do my best to be the best me every day. And then Doreen says, I'm always trying to give. Exactly. Awesome. So yeah, hopefully this added value to all of you. And yeah, like I said, if you value this, contribute to the community, keep adding value to this community, like go encourage other ladies, comment on posts. You can post something too that encourages other people. I think if you can live your life in a way that is always about adding value to others, helping others, lifting others up, you will just have a greater life and more energy in your life. And this is to everybody on here, everybody who's in the Fierce Women community, to everybody on YouTube. It's one of my greatest callings is to continue to transfer that love and that energy so that we can together bring more people in the positive light, because our world is filled with too much sadness and anger and hatred and all of these things, and bitterness and all of these things. And I think that if we can do our part, we can do so much in raising the energy of our society and raising the energy of people in human connection, right? So anyways, hopefully that makes sense, and that you now know how to maximize your energy in your life and in your wellness and fitness. So awesome. And I see all the beautiful comments. Thank you, Doreen and Lynn. I appreciate all of you. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye.